These practice management tips are being offered by Hans Hansen and Judy Holmes of the Compliance Clinic. In the last webinar, we talked about how unresolved conflict resulted in the loss of a good employee, and we discussed 3 steps you can take to minimize the damage. Well, in this webinar, we're going to talk about 5 strategies you can use to reduce office conflict so you never lose a valued employee. There's no end to the sources of workplace conflict. It often results from just personality conflicts, like, millennials don't like to work with us aging baby boomers, somebody with personal habits drive somebody else crazy, type A working with somebody with a more laid-back work style often creates conflict, and of course there are the jerks of all kinds. Workplace conflict can also result from unequal treatment or perceived unequal treatment, from poorly defined responsibilities, from just the stress of the workload, from unclear requirements, and from poor communication. So let's talk about 5 strategies that you can use to reduce harmful conflict in your healthcare practice. Strategy 1, build an infrastructure. Start with good written job descriptions. They should have clear guidance in them on responsibilities and duties. They should define performance expectations. They should clearly define the chain of command. These job descriptions are so important in every aspect of your practice. You can use them in the hiring process, in discipline, and termination. They're just very critical to a well-run office. Also, we suggest having a good, well-written handbook, clearly defining conduct expectations. We're going to be talking about both job descriptions and handbooks in coming webinars. Strategy 2, number 2, is build a culture of communication. That is key. Staff goals and responsibilities should be well defined. Provide positive feedback as well as constructive criticism. Sometimes that's hard to remember, but it's so important for your employees to hear the good things as well as the bad. Encourage staff members to be good listeners and to be open-minded. And you can set a good example by being a good listener yourself and by being open-minded. Consider one-on-one meetings. Sometimes there are 2 employees, they're just like oil and water. They have to work together and they're just at each other with conflicts. Before they actually polarize the whole office, pull everybody into their problems, get them in a one-on-one meeting, alone or with a mediator, with you, someone, so that you can try to work out their conflict before they poison the whole office. A team agreement can be an effective tool to improve accountability, reduce gossiping and negative interactions. They're helpful to resolve specific personality conflicts, and they're very good to reduce claims of unfairness or I didn't know, because you could say, well, you were in the meeting, we had a team agreement, you signed it, so yes, you did know. Adopt an Opendoor Policy, emphasizing the importance of reporting inappropriate conduct. Now, you're probably saying, why in the world do I want to encourage my employees to complain more? For 2 reasons. Number 1, because you want to hear it before that employee quits and you say, geez, I had no idea there was anything wrong. And number 2, you want to hear the problem and try to fix it before they go off to the EEOC or file a complaint against you. It's better that you have the opportunity to fix any problem before they go to an outside source or quit. Make it clear that every conflict resolution is everyone's responsibility. Your employees should understand that they're expected to attempt a resolution of conflict on their own before they even get you or your practice manager involved. And we suggest even making this part of their annual performance evaluation. Do they handle conflict well? Do they try to resolve it on their own? Strategy 3, don't ignore the problem. No matter how you wish it would go away, it's probably not. Problems escalate if they're not dealt with. So take prompt, appropriate action to resolve the underlying reasons for the situation. Strategy 4, consider reinforcements. Sometimes you and your office manager have to be above the fray. You can't be everywhere at once. Sometimes you just simply don't have time to sit down and resolve a situation. Sometimes it's better that a third party with conflict management skills and experience come in and handle a particularly sensitive issue so that you can stay out of it. So always consider that if there's a significant conflict with your staff. And strategy 5, recognize you can't fix everyone. You can have job descriptions, handbooks, you can make everything clear, you can warn, you can discipline, and nothing works. Sometimes you just have a bad apple and you have to realize the situation can't be fixed. You just need to cut your losses. But before you do, make sure you've protected your practice. Make sure you've made all that documentation clear that you have tried everything. You have given them warnings. You've tried and you've been fair, because that's going to go a long way to help you defend an EEOC action or a lawsuit. One final thought. Treat everyone with respect and encourage others to do the same. Set a good example. That one step alone will go so far to creating a positive workplace culture, reducing conflict, and improving staff morale, and actually making your life a lot easier. Visit us at thecomplianceclinic.com, and we have additional information there. We'd love to hear from you also. If you have questions or comments about our webinars, if there's a particular topic that you'd like us to cover, please give us some feedback at the email addresses on this slide. Thank you.